We did like 600K year one, did like 1.5 year two, did a little under 9 last year. This year we should do like 60 to 70 million, maybe more if my VP of Ops can keep us in stock. So just keep running out of stock. He said, give me 10% of your company and I'll teach you some stuff. Everyone said you're an idiot. People told me like there's gonna be a movie made about this one day. One single person said I would take this deal in a second if I were you. I was selling shorts for $60 a pair and I was barely cracking like 100, 200K a month. He goes, drop the price to $39. I said, won't everyone think that we're just selling like garbage? He goes, do you want to be cool or do you want to make money? Our cost of acquisition is like 30 right now. A year ago today it was 90. It was 89. I checked this morning. Now it's 30.
What was the big change?
Disgusting amounts of creative up on Meta. We did around 250K this month last year. We're gonna do like 3.5, 4 million this month, and we're uploading 2,500 to 3,000 ads this month. Every dollar we made for the first 2 years went back in. That also got us almost into bankruptcy like 6 different times, having literally less than a month worth of rent in my own personal account, 80K in bills coming up in a week, 0 money in the business account. I was like stacking loans from PayPal, from Shopify, from Wayflyer, all at the same time. One of my friends is the founder of, I don't know if I can say the name, a supplement. They've gone from 0 to 300 million a year. This is their 3rd year. It's the fastest growing supplement brand of all time. One of our other friends asked, what's the secret? And he goes, it's crazy when you create something that people actually want to buy. Like he spent almost 2 years doing R&D for this product.
Lukas, welcome to the Commercive podcast.
Let's go, dude. Thanks for having me.
Brother, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. And I know you're going to drop some gems for the audience today. It's what we brought you here. Commercive is all about bringing the craziest high-level value possible so the actual audience can make bank from their e-commerce businesses and then use Commercive for their fulfillment. Let's go. So it's kind of like the Alex Ramosi model, except podcast version. Lukas, tell us who you are for those who don't know you.
Yeah, I'm just an entrepreneur, founder, like most people watching, failed over and over and over. And then, there's a great Jeff Bezos quote. I might be botching it, but he says like you could get no results for 5 years and then year 6 or 7, like everything just takes off. And I feel like that's kind of what's been happening over the past year and a half. So yeah, very excited about that. But I own a couple different businesses. I have a e-com clothing brand, I have a tech company, and then I have a founders group as well. So all of them I focus different amounts of time on, but they all coerce together.
And you've been going crazy recently. I mean, on social, with the brand, with the tech company, Haas.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, founder. Do you have a co-founder?
I do, yeah. So my co-founder is my cousin for Haas.
Interesting.
He was the only other person I knew at that age that was like even remotely entrepreneurial. And we were just like, yo, do you want to team up? And we did it. And now we're here.
How old are you now?
24.
24. We got some young killers every single time.
Dude, I feel old, bro. Whenever people ask me that, I'm like, I got to think about it for a second.
Yeah, it's rare to find except like the low key guys, like the 50-year-olds who own like these $500 million brands. But that's sick. Congrats on all the success so far. Your brand itself coming up on 20 million in sales.
We'll do like, it's crazy. So we did like 600K year one, did like 1.5 year two, did a little under 9 last year. This year we should do like 60 to 70 million, maybe more if my VP of Ops can keep us in stock. So just keep running out of stock. But yeah, lifetime sales, I think is about at like 20 or 22 million right now.
Dang, bro. Yeah. Congrats. And I want to go through that because like you said, like you're really ramped up, out of nowhere almost, right? But no one sees the nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to take it back a little bit. First of all, how did you get started with the whole e-com thing?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about e-com. Not a thing. I didn't know anything about clothing. I didn't think that was going to be like when I was a kid, I always knew I was an entrepreneur. I had started lots of businesses and failed. And it depends what you consider a real business. Like, is a lemonade stand a real business? Probably not. But, I had all these like little side hustle projects I worked on. And then I just tried making clothes because I saw Kill Crew popping off. And I wore a pair of short shorts to my gym in college. It's like the first one at my school to wear them. 6 months later, you'd go to the gym and you'd see 6 people wearing Kill Crew. And then I one day was like doing some research. I found out they made the shorts for like $5, sold them for $50. And I was like, dude, I could fucking do this, kind of. I think that's my superpowers. I think everything's way easier than it really is.
Mm.
And so I, started this clothing brand with my cousin, posted it online, expecting people to be very supportive and get a lot of praise. Like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. Exact opposite.
I feel
Everyone
like
was like,
people do that all the time. They post it on their Snapchat or Instagram, like,
yeah,
"Please buy my stuff."
everyone was
Yeah.
shitting on me. People were like, this is fucking hurt. Like, you're not going anywhere. People were just so negative off the rip. And so almost out of spite, I was like, I can't let these guys win. I have to take this seriously now. I have to go all in. So then I just started making crazy claims. I'm gonna build the fastest growing activewear brand of all time. Like, had no plan, had no once again experience or expertise in either niches, e-com or clothing. And yeah, I mean, if we hit the numbers that we're gonna hit this year, like it's already happening, we will be the fastest growing activewear brand of all time. So I do think, like, you have to see it in your head first.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't know how I was gonna get there, but I saw it. I really did believe it. I didn't think I was just, like, bullshitting. I really did believe in my head, I'm gonna figure something out that's different. And, that's what kinda led me to take some of the risks and make some of the really, yeah, risky decisions I made that got us to where we are. It definitely wasn't easy.
What were some of those risky decisions?
I mean, every dollar we made for the first 2 years went back in. So I didn't pay myself once. Even when the business was doing like a couple hundred grand a month, didn't pay myself, put it all back in. And we just didn't try and grow slowly. Like most businesses try and grow like, oh, 30% a year, 40% a year. I was like, let's fucking double down on every order. And that also got us almost into bankruptcy like
Mhm.
6 different times. And I have a lot of stories about that. It was brutal. Like having literally less than a month worth of rent in my own personal account, 80K in bills coming up in a week, 0 money in the business account. And that happened like multiple times, stuff like that. And I had to go to friends and like ask them to invest, and I had to borrow money. I was like stacking loans from PayPal, from Shopify, from Wayflyer all at the same time.
Sheesh.
Um, and yeah, I mean, there's just so many like right on the edge moments, but probably the biggest risk, which is funny. So my mentor, for anyone listening, my mentor, his name's Hudson Leo Grande, founder of Comfort, fastest growing e-commerce brand of all time.
Mhm.
So shout out Hudson.
Shout out Hudson.
They went from 0 to 700 million bootstrapped in 3 years. They'll probably do like 1.3 billion this year, I think is what they're projecting. And I met him before anyone else really knew who he was. He hadn't started posting yet. So he's kind of a ghost in some ways, unless you're really deep in e-com. And he just liked my attitude. Like every day, I would pay him to do calls. I'd pay him like 2K for 30 minutes. And he'd ask me how the company was going. I'd say, oh, fuck, dude, this happened and this
Mm.
happened. But I'd be smiling about it because I was like, we're going to figure it out. I felt very confident we were going to figure it out. And he was like, I like your attitude, dude. And he said, give me 10% of your company and I'll teach you some stuff. And at the time, I posted a video about it. What do you guys think? Should I take this deal? I asked any person I knew that was successful, what do you think about this deal? There's no obligations. There's no requirements in his contract. It's completely vague. He's going to advise, is what it was. No vesting, no options over time. It was just like, give me 10% today and I'll help you with some stuff.
Just like
I
that.
don't
Vague,
even
vague,
think
vague.
Hudson knew what the word vesting meant. He was like, bro, I didn't graduate high school. I don't know what that means. When I asked him if he would vest.
Did people think you're crazy to even think of
Everyone
that
everyone
idea?
said you're an idiot. They said people told me, like, there's gonna be a movie made about this one day, like, "You're a fucking idiot." This is the worst deal I've ever heard in my life. And it's funny because now people are in my comments, "Oh, you got lucky, bro." Like, anyone would take that deal if they got it. No. Not a single one single person said, "I would take this deal in a second if I were you." And it was the founder of ProMix, who was a friend of mine at the time. I'd just gotten to know him. But the way I looked at it wasn't just for Haas. It was like, I want to be around this guy and not even like get his advice. Like his advice was very valuable, but I just want to be around someone that is truly like a master at what they do.
Mm.
So I can see how they act, so I can see how they talk to people, so I can see how they think about problem solving. And that's been what I've gotten the most out of Hudson from is like just observing him. It's not even things he's told me. It's like just watching him, how he handles situations, what he says in certain situations. Um, but yeah, what he taught me definitely did lead to a lot of our success. So that was probably the single biggest risk, is like I already had a business that had done probably like 2 million in lifetime sales. My co-founder and I were 100% equity holders together, 50-50. We were just starting to open up a round to raise some money because we were about to go bankrupt. And then we also just handed over 10% to this guy that we just met. It's like the biggest
Dang.
risk
That is
ever.
scary.
But it paid off because I
Right.
was like, what am I going to regret more if either I succeed and someone gets a huge pile of money one day that they didn't deserve. That's the best worst case scenario, is that this guy gets a ton of money and he doesn't deserve it. The worst scenario is the business fails. We were going towards that way anyway.
Hmm.
So I was like, I might as well say yes.
Dang.
And it's funny because now today I signed a deal with 2 young kids to do the exact same thing,
Okay.
where I'm going to mentor them and advise them and give them my system and teach them things and give them a good spot on Tribe. And
That's fire. Well, who knows? Maybe those 2 guys will be sitting there.
I think they will, dude. They're
Yeah.
killers. I wouldn't do the deal with any. That's the other thing, is like people always ask me, how do you find a good mentor? And I always wondered that my whole life. A mentor finds you, because if a mentor is successful and they have things going on and they're making a ton of money, why would they want to give any time to someone who they don't believe in, right? So you have to be worthy of a great mentor, in my opinion. I don't think Hudson would have, not to toot my own horn, but I don't think Hudson would have given me an hour of his time if he didn't think that there was a chance that it could, result in something beneficial for him, even if it wasn't money, because he doesn't need it. Maybe it's just feeling young again. Maybe it's being around young energy. Who knows? I don't know what his
Yeah.
thought process was, but you
Yeah.
have to be worthy of a great mentor for them to choose you, I think.
Yeah. I really like that. Guys, quick break on the pod. Over 87% of people who watch this podcast aren't subscribed. So if you guys can take 5 seconds, hit that subscribe button for more high-level e-com value. We appreciate it. And with that, let's continue on.
So I remember when I first met him, I looked him like right in the eyes and I said, "You're going to make more money off me than anyone you've ever met in your
Okay.
life."
The bold
And
claims.
yeah, and he was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, he had
was
already
like,
done
"Who are-"
200 million in sales.
Yeah.
He had 2 businesses ripping, Comfort and Purely White. And here's this kid who'd like barely had done 2 million in sales, saying I'm the best decision you ever made. Like the
I like
Tom
that.
Brady, Robert Kraft story. But I was like, I believe in it, right? I wasn't just talking out of my ass. I did believe in it for sure.
Yeah.
And now he's got
You're-
equity in Tribe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got
that's
equity in
sick.
Tribe.
Okay, we got to talk about that. So, finding a mentor early on, was this like the first big project that you kind of worked on, or was there anything that failed?
There was like 4 or 5 businesses that failed. I had a glow stick company with my friends. I had a on-demand washing and delivery service in college that I started with the president of my fraternity at the time, who was like a kind of an older brother in some ways to me. I had an alcohol company, had a hand sanitizer company during COVID that I got pushed out of by my friend. So yeah, I had 4 failed businesses before Haas.
Okay, cool.
But Haas was like the first real business
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, a lot of people see the success. They don't see what came before that. So I did want to bring that up.
Mhm.
I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast episode. We're bringing the highest level of e-commerce value every single month. So definitely hit that subscribe button and check out our other podcast episodes. If you're looking for an e-commerce fulfillment partner that you can trust to ship to 65 plus countries worldwide and make sure that you have the best cost of goods, go to commercive.co for a completely free quote. We service over 1,000 e-commerce brands, taking care of all their sourcing, manufacturing, and fulfillment from China. So you don't have to worry about anything on the back end. Let us, the experts, actually handle for you. Go to commercive.co for a free quote. And with that, let's continue on with the episode. As a clothing brand owner, right? What do you see other brand owners in the clothing space specifically doing wrong?
Okay, I want to try and make this as valuable as possible. So every kid starts a clothing brand because they want to make cool clothes. Most of them don't think about it from an economic or business perspective of like how many people could or would buy my product. You can want to make cool, fashionable items. Good for you. That's great. That's the direction that 90% of people take when they start a fashion brand or a clothing brand. Let's create cool products that me and my friends would want to buy. The biggest problem with that, number one, is like just because you think something is cool, that doesn't mean that other people are going to think it's cool. That's what I fell for in the early days. The second part, and I would say actually even more important, is your TAM, your total addressable market. Everyone starts a clothing brand and they price their product high because they think that a high price point is cooler,
Mm.
and a high price point uh, speaks to the quality of the product. It doesn't, number one. It's all marketing, but it doesn't even really work. Like, as an example, when Hudson came in and started teaching me things, I was selling shorts for $60 a pair, and I was barely cracking like 100, 200K a month. Yeah, probably 200K a month. And he goes, drop the price to $39. I said, won't everyone think that we're just selling like garbage, like
Mm.
cheap shit if it's 39? And won't that ruin the aesthetic of the brand? It won't be cool anymore. And he goes, do you want to be cool or do you want to make money? And he sells $39 hoodies, by the way, right? So you have to think, if you're selling like a pair of long shorts, or if you're selling a graphic tee that you screen printed at home for $80, the amount of people out there that are able and willing to buy a printed t-shirt for $80 is like probably 5% of the amount of people that are willing to buy that same tee for $40. So you're severely limiting the number of people you could potentially sell to, right? And so with Haas, like, my goal really is to sell the best quality activewear for the best price. Like, there's literally no activewear brand out there that sells a better product for our price. We use the same manufacturers as brands like 247, ASRV, these brands that charge $120 for a pair of shorts. Our cost of goods are the same. It costs the same to make my shorts as it does for them. I sell the product for like sometimes a third the price of these other brands. Now, the second part of that is like, how do you acquire customers cheaply enough to make that economically viable? That's really hard. But
Yeah.
that was always my goal. It's like, once I met Hudson, I was like, okay, drop the price. The amount of people that could buy my product jumps from 1 million to 100 million just by dropping it by $20, right?
Interesting. So how does someone figure out, hey, should I go for the highest profit margin, like let's say like Alo or some of the like the bigger, more expensive active brands, or
Yeah.
like go cheaper, right? Like where's that fine line? How do they figure out, okay, this is going to be my market? I'd rather go for the smaller market or a bigger market.
Mhm.
How does someone choose what area they want to be in?
Well, everyone focuses on aloe, like you said, right? There's maybe 1 out of 100 success stories for a high priced brand. Most high priced brands are not successful. Like, I'm not gonna name drop a brand and expose them, but I've poached a lot of employees from some pretty big activewear brands that any guy would know the name of. The men's activewear brands. Any guy would know the name of these brands. I also know women's brands as well. Really high price point. $90 leggings, $120 leggings. And you see their website and you go, oh, okay, like high price point, super aesthetic, great branding, great models. They must be cooking. Like this one brand that I poached from, both Hudson and I thought this brand must be doing at least 100 million a year, maybe 200 million a year in revenue, because it just seemed like they would. I come to find out, once I poached their employees, they never cracked over 25 million. Their entire profit for the year was maybe 1 or 2 million. I'll be profiting that every single month by the end of this year, right? And I have less than 10% the amount of followers of some of these brands, right? So, yes, there are examples like Alo, Lulu, Viore. They've also raised like hundreds of millions of dollars,
Mm,
right?
right.
They were built by older individuals who had been in e-com and clothing for a long, long time. So they had so much expertise. They had the connections and the relationships with the manufacturers. That way they could get like net 90 terms off the rip. That having net 90 terms with your manufacturers is more valuable than having your 80% gross margin, right? Because that's your lifeline as a e-com or clothing brand, right?
Yeah.
So
Especially with all the SKUs and
yeah,
the
most
amount of
most
inventory
luxury
you need.
brands were started by most luxury brands that succeeded were started by people that had the most amount of experience and connection. So if you think that you're gonna go start a luxury brand as a kid or someone in like your 20s with no experience and succeed is very unlikely.
Mm,
And I'm not discouraging anyone. I'm just saying, like, if you want to make money, you know, think
yeah.
about it strategically as well.
Did you go drop shipping first or did you go straight MOQ from
MOQ.
MOQ?
So yeah, we found a manufacturer on Alibaba. I sent them my designs. They sent me back horse shit. I probably went with like 10 different manufacturers, sent them the same designs. 9 of them sent me horse shit. One of
Mm.
them had some potential. So I placed an order with
Is
them.
that the one you use today?
No, no, no. We've switched. We've switched manufacturers like every year and a half, 2 years,
Mhm.
because here's another thing that's hopefully helpful is like, you don't know how to negotiate. The manufacturers aren't going to take you seriously at first. This is one thing I've experienced. Even if your business 10Xs like we've had over the last year, sometimes your manufacturers, and this is like a human thing, people will see you as the first version of you they met. If I met you in high school and you were like a boner, right? Like no, some normal ass, like and someone I would never think would be successful. And then 5 years later, you're crushing and you're the biggest thing ever. I'm still gonna think of you as that first version I saw, right? It's natural, it's human. Everyone does that. And the same thing happens with business, right? If your manufacturers met you when you were a kid, like me, even after we had grown and even after we were placing orders that some of their other big clients would place, we found out that we were still getting the worst pricing. And they kept telling us, oh, we can't make it happen. Sorry, we can't do it. And then I find out that this other brand is placing literally the same amount of order size, yet I'm getting hosed. And I came to realize it's because they still see me as like that kid that they can take advantage of. And so that's where you actually need to go out and find new manufacturers and pitch them and say, why do you guys deserve our business? We're the fastest growing brand in this category. Why do you deserve my business? And they can then offer you crazy good rates because they want to earn your business versus this company already has it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Coming back to talking about the lower price point, right? And you mentioned that you need to have really good CPAs,
Hmm.
right? For those who are new to ecom, it's like the cost per acquisition is the key, and then the AOV and the LTV. I think those three pillars
Uh-huh.
are as extremely important to scale, right? So I want to go through each pillar, and if there's any sauce you have for
Mhm.
those three things, because at the $39.99 price point, you must be doing something really good in one of those three or all three to really scale.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely like obviously number one, you want to get your AOV up as high as possible, bundling, uh, free shipping discounts, um, good products, right? Like a top and bottom pairing, right? Like we do a lot of things on our website to encourage people to buy one more of one thing, right? Like a big, like popcorn pricing, for example. You sell the small popcorn for $5, you sell the medium for 8, you sell the large for 9. It's like a no-brainer to buy the large one for 9. It's $1 more, you get double the size of the medium, but it's like psychological triggers, right? So, yeah, we sell our shorts for like $40, $45 right now. Our AOV is probably 80, I think, on our website, maybe 85. Our cost of acquisition is like 30 right now. It used to be 9 a year ago today it was 90. It was
Mhm.
89. I checked this morning. Now it's 30.
What was the big change?
Disgusting amounts of creative
Mm.
up on Meta. This is some sauce for you guys right here. So, if you're an e-com brand, even an app, any brand, and you're wondering how do I get my cost of acquisition down? Number one, you have to have like great quality creatives, right? You have to have good ads that really explain to the customer why this product is worth it, worth their hard earned money. But you need a lot of them too. And so, to give you an example, we were uploading 200 ads a month at an $89 CAC a year ago today. We did around 250K this month last year.
Mm.
We're going to do like 3.54 million this month, and we're uploading 2,500 to 3,000 ads this month. So we've 10x the revenue, but we've also 10x the amount of creatives we're uploading, and the quality has gotten a lot better as well. That's why I created Tribe, so I could give the data to my creators to be able to make better content, right? So the way you do that, though, here a good way to like look at it is, let's say you sell water, like artisan water, right? And let's say there's 1,000,000 people out there. I'm just picking easy numbers. Let's say there's 1,000,000 people out there that could or would buy your water. That's your TAM, total addressable market. If you make 10 ads talking about why this water is the best water ever and this is why you should buy it, and then you upload those to Meta, what Meta's going to do is it's going to show those 10 ads to those 1,000,000 people over and over and over, as long as it can acquire those customers for your targeted CPA. Maybe it's $50 to acquire that customer, as an example.
Mhm.
What happens though is like a customer, a potential customer, a person watching ads on Meta or videos on Meta, they'll see the ad the first time, they'll think, okay, maybe cool, whatever. They'll see it the second time, maybe they're interested now. And then maybe on like the seventh or eighth time seeing that ad is when they'd actually purchase. Maybe not, right? That's what you hope is like after 7 touch points, they want to purchase. But if you only have 10 ads in your account and Meta's just showing those ads to the same person over and over and over and over, eventually that person's going to get fatigued They're going to be like, I don't care about this anymore. I've seen this ad. They're going to scroll faster every single time they see that first clip because they've seen it already. It's
Right.
not new. It's not exciting. It's not, curious to them anymore. So that's why CPAs go up or CPMs go up after X amount of time of an ad being run. Your CPA will always go up as time goes on any ad because the customer's just seen it too many times. It's boring. It's just like you wouldn't pay to see a movie 5 times, right?
Right.
Maybe you pay to see it once. Maybe if it's really good, you pay to see it a second time and then it's done. So with that said, how do you fix that problem? Instead of uploading 10 ads, you upload 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 ads. And it's really that simple. Like wherever you are in your business, if your business is doing 2 million a month in sales and you're uploading 300 ads a month, I guarantee you that if you can maintain the quality of those ads, like you don't just pump out shit just to pump out shit, but if you have 300 good ads right now a month that you're uploading and you get that number to 1,000 and the quality is still great and they're not just like duplicates of each other, your CPAs will go down and your business will generate more revenue. It's really simple.
So how does someone do that at scale with quality? I know
Mhm.
Tribe is something
Yeah.
you've created. Can we talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, for sure. How do you do that at scale? Most businesses fuck up because they're constantly chasing new UGC creators, right? They go to Sarah, Stacy, 100K followers on Instagram. They say, hey, we'll pay you $2,000 for 3 videos. She makes the 3 videos. She gets the $2,000. They run them on Meta. If they do well, maybe they come back to her. If they don't, they're like, okay, let's go find a new creator. It's the worst method ever for advertising because you're paying up front. You have no idea if what you're getting is going to be of quality. You have no idea if it's even going to work. And most importantly, you're getting rid of the person that you want to keep on your team. It's like, so I look at getting more creatives, kind of like building door-to-door sales teams. If you were building a door-to-door sales team to sell this water, would you use that strategy of like finding a salesman from college? Hey, John, come work for us. I want you to knock 30 doors today. I'll give you $200. And then the next day you go find a different one. No, that's like extremely inefficient. You have to train the new one every single time. They have no understanding of your business, of your product. They're not getting better. Because think about it. In order to sell any product, you have to put in a shit ton of reps, right? Whether it's UGC, TikTok shop, door-to-door sales. If you're selling water door-to-door, like you probably have to knock 1,000 doors to be really an expert on this product and do a good job. So why would you get rid of the creator every time? And why would you give them money before they make you the content? And why would you incentivize them to make you content as fast as possible? Like if you give someone $2,000 for 3 videos, as an example, you give them anything for anything. But if you gave someone $2,000 for 3 videos, you're incentivizing them to make you the shittiest content just to get it over with to get their salary, right? You're paying for the job, not for the result. And so I think TikTok Shop really revolutionized this because it's the first platform ever to make a process for brands to say, hey, if you sell it, you get a piece. So you're almost like democratizing entrepreneurship, right? Creator doesn't make you money, they don't get paid. If they do make you money, they get a piece of the upside.
Right.
It could be unlimited, $10,000, $30,000 for a single video.
Mhm.
It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win for everyone, in my opinion. The problem is like brands don't want sales on TikTok. They want sales on their website because you want the higher LTV, you want the higher AOV, you want the email, the phone number. You want the customer like buying from your brand, not from a social media video on TikTok or on Amazon or Instagram, right? So, I started Haas. I realized this and I created Tribe first as an internal software for Haas. And that's what brought us from like, 200K a month to 3 million a month in like 6 months. And then this was always my plan. But once I had proven it, I was like, okay, well, I feel like we've really, truly struck gold with this. There's no stopping us as long as we stand stock.
Hmm.
I could keep this to myself, or like I found gold Hudson found gold in 1848. I found some as well. He helped me.
Hmm.
We could go to the East Coast and say, hey, everyone, there's gold over here in California. We're going to point you in the right direction. We're even going to give you some advice on how to find it. And by the way, you don't even have to take any risk. Like you don't have to buy the tools up front. We're not going to charge you $1,500 a month like some softwares. Tribe is free. It's in a nutshell, it's TikTok Shop for Meta.
Mhm.
And then we have all the other integrations coming soon. And we just take a small piece of the
Yeah,
upside. We
that's
take
sick.
1.5% of whatever you make, net new revenue. So it's like a no-brainer for businesses.
Mhm.
And dude, we haven't spent a dollar on marketing yet or acquisition. And we have, might be more now. I checked a couple days ago. We have 35 brands joining every day and 350 creators joining every day at this point in time from no ad, just from word of mouth.
So the way it works, and by the way, congrats on the launch.
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
excited to see where it goes.
Appreciate it.
Any brand can join,
Mhm.
right? And any creator can join, but the brand needs to approve the creator's videos before they go live in the ad account.
Yeah. So the workflow is like, once a brand has created their page and everything, creator downloads Tribe. It could be a 32-year-old single mother of two with no social media experience. Someone like that would probably have a lower chance of making money and being accepted, but it's possible.
Mhm.
She creates an account. She adds a couple examples of videos that she's made. That way brands can see, like, is she good at this? She finds the brand she wants to work with, like shout out GU Skincare. They're like one of the top 5 brands on Tribe right now. They're ripping. And she'll click on GU. She'll click request to work. If they accept her, she can set up her phone in her kitchen, talk about why she loves this Korean skincare brand. Maybe it's a 30-second video. She submits it to them. Someone on the GU team can go and approve or deny that ad. And if they do approve it, she can get a percentage of whatever they make off that ad. And a
Mm.
brand can determine how they want to do their commission. Like a brand could offer $300 or $1,000 per video, but we always recommend, it's like best practice, offer a percentage of the sales. That way creators get a piece of the upside and they're really incentivized to make great content. And so if Sarah, this 32-year-old single mother of two, if she makes ads that convert at a really high level for GU and she makes 100 videos a month for them that end up generating GU 300K in sales every month, and they offer 10% commission, she'll be making 30K a month talking about a product she loves to wear and use without posting on her Instagram, without posting on TikTok. And who knows, she could become a millionaire by the end of the year. Like I have guys for Haas that make over $1,000 a day, and there will be some guys that make over 100K a month by the end of the year talking about clothes.
That probably feels great. Just like
Dude,
your
yeah,
creators making that.
dude, it's sick, bro. They'll text me like one of my guys just bought like a fucking Ford Raptor the other day, like
Sick.
80,000. I don't know how much that cost actually,
Yeah.
but he's like, bro, you're
We
the
don't
man.
got
I
those
just
in New
gotta,
York.
yeah, they don't have those here yet. Too big for the street.
Yeah.
Um,
Parking would be.
yeah, that'd be ass. But yeah, he texted me. He's like, bro, you're a legend. Like, I just bought a Ford Raptor from my payment from the last 2 months on Tribe,
That's sick.
and so it definitely does feel good
Yeah.
for sure.
Well,
But they deserve it. Like that means he's generating my brand hundreds of thousands in sales.
yeah.
So every month.
That's sick. Coming back for a second to one of the earlier conversations we had here, creating products that people actually want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you identify that?
Realistically, I don't think you're going to create a product people actually want to buy in your first business. You're going to create a product that you think people are going to like, and then you're going to put it out in the market and no one's going to buy it. And then you're going to come back and be like, fuck, how do I change this and make it better? And that's what happened with us. Like we created a pair of shorts that were like really loud and bright and all this writing all over. And I thought it was cool. And some of my friends thought it was cool, but no one really, like the TAM for it was so small.
Mm.
And then you realize like, okay, let's actually listen to the customer. Let's do surveys. Let's figure out what people want. They've gone from 0 to 300 million a year. This is their 3rd year. So I believe it's the fastest growing supplement brand of all time. I don't want to expose him because his numbers are crazy. I don't think he wants people to know. One of our other friends asked him, what the fuck, bro? Like how is that possible? What's the secret? And he goes, it's crazy when you create something that people actually want to buy, like what happens? And he told us he spent almost 2 years doing R&D for this product. Samples and testing and science labs. And like, it wasn't just like, let's create a protein powder and slap a new label on it. It's like, let's create a product backed by research that people actually want that would solve a real problem. And that way it's just so easy to market it. And I actually don't think their marketing strategy is as good as it could or should be. Like they still have some work to go, but it's an unbelievable product that the customers love, and so they market it for it.
Yeah. I think something you did uniquely with Haas before you kind of like really went all in on it was you saw a business that was already crushing it in that niche, like the
Yeah,
proof of concept,
yeah.
right? And like I think a lot of people need to know that they cannot just like well, starting with a business that's already proven versus inventing like a niche or whatever is always the better way to do it.
I really do believe your first try at anything should be copying someone else. First business, copy somebody else's business. For I tell my creators it's first video on Tribe. If you just got accepted to like the Haas group on Tribe, don't try and make your own UGC video that you think is going to do well. It's going to suck. Go copy every one of the top 25 videos that are shown right there. That's why we added that feature, because those are already making people money. Copy what's working, and then naturally you'll get in the rhythm and in the mindset of like how like creating stuff that actually produces results.
Mm.
And then maybe on video 26 you think, "Wait, why do they say this? Let me try changing it to this." And maybe that's a huge unlock, and then you make way more money. But I tell every new creator in our group, copy somebody else first. It's the best way to learn. It's the best way to get better. And it's the easiest way to get results for sure.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, maybe then like a couple years into business, you start realizing like these are the actual problems people are having, or like I copied this uh, waffle printing company, but like it has all these issues. How can I make it better? How can I make it quicker? How can I make the toasting perfect? Right. And that's when you start coming up with new ideas that actually make you money long
Yeah.
term. But your first business, in almost every scenario, will never make you rich. It'll never make you money. And you
Yeah.
should go into it as like a learning opportunity.
How does someone actually optimize the holiday seasons? Because I know that's big for brands, specifically clothing, right?
Mhm.
Like, how much of your revenue is actually generated around like holiday, Q4, all those?
It's a lot. I mean, it's like we did more in Q4 last year than the rest of the year combined, and that's not n that's not, like, abnormal. I think it'll be the same this year because like, we're growing exponentially, so, like, normally Q4 is huge anyway. For us, we're growing that fast, so it'll be even bigger. How do you optimize? Give yourself so much more time than you think you need. Like, we've done
When do
this
you start
now.
planning?
I mean, let me just give you an easy example, like,
Let's say for Q4, when do you start
I
for this
mean,
year even?
it depends on the brand and the niche and stuff, but, like, for the past 3 years, my co-founder who's in charge of product, Troy, you gotta lock in, bro.
Troy, where you
Every
at?
summer is when this year will be better off, but for the last 3 summers is when we started sampling our hoodies and sweats, and I would ask him, I'd be like, "Dude, like, are you sure if we're starting this now that these are gonna get in time for Q4?" Like the actual ready to go product. Because before we've rushed it and we got a shit product that didn't sell that well. And then what happened this year is like, yes, it'll be ready. And I said, "Are you sure? Like, what is the sampling time?" "Oh, it takes 10 days to sample." "Okay, well, how long does it take to ship overseas?" "They can get it to us in a couple of days." And I said, "Are you sure that like realistically the third sample is going to be good?" He said, "Yeah, absolutely." And what ended up happening is it took us like 7 samples to get the right one.
Mm.
And our hoodies and sweats that we wanted to drop in November of last year arrived at the beginning of March this year.
Oh shoot.
And I was like, "Dude," like and now they're so hard to sell because it's
Yeah,
like hot out.
right. So product development way earlier than you think.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, most clothing brands start sampling a year and a half ahead of when they're gonna drop the product.
And then marketing, when would you put that?
We're different. A lot of big clothing brands operate like on drop models and stuff, and they have like huge seasonal campaigns. So they have like all these shoots and billboards and like in-person activations and all. We don't really do that stuff. Like our whole strategy is just like disgusting amount of UGC, pump out creative. We don't even have a we don't even have like a real product launch strategy.
Mm.
Like I tell my manufacturer, like as soon as the product's ready and we feel good about it, let's play. We just want to move really fast. So, like as soon as the sample is approved, we place a fat order or a decent order
How
to
do you know
test.
how much to order? Do you test it with a group or
We ask our creators if they think that this would be a hit, if they think they'd be able to sell this well. And then part of it is taking a risk, but I usually prefer to order less on the first order. So like we just came out with a new pair of pants and like a jogger. I really liked the product. I thought it was a monster product, but I said, and we wanted to order like 20,000 units to start. And I was like, it's an amazing product. And I was like, I think this is going to do really well, but I can't be sure of that yet. Let's order like 3,000 units to be safe, like next to nothing. And it's having a hard time
Mm,
catching momentum, honestly. So if I would have ordered 20,000, I would have
right? Yeah,
really fucked myself.
right.
But then another example that was like this tank top I'm wearing, we call it like our distressed tank.
Hmm.
It's a new version of our bestseller. Our best-selling product is our normal tank tops. And so we had a pretty confident feeling that because this is a similar version to our bestseller, and because it's so unique, like no one has ever dropped a distressed tank before, at least as far as I'm aware, because I have this army of salesmen,
Mm,
I think this will do really well. I'm willing to take the risk. And so we ordered 30,000 of these, and we'll sell out before we get more.
yeah.
So we didn't order enough on these. But I'd rather not order enough than order too many.
Mhm.
You could always order more. But it's always like hedging that risk. Like, do we feel comfortable enough to take a big bet, or do we want to play it safe with this new release? You
Yeah.
know?
You talk a lot about your team, right? How
Yeah.
crucial is that, and what are like the key team members someone should have?
I mean, it's everything. Like, it's like business is a sport, and if you don't have a good O lineman, you could have the best receiver, the best quarterback. You're cooked,
So
right?
what is that in e-com?
The most if we're relating ecom to a sports team,
Mm,
the most important positions are someone really dialed in the operations seat. So like a VP of ops or a COO, definitely overpay on those. My VP of ops makes more money than me
mm.
as a salary. Like his salary up until like a month or two ago was double my salary as the CEO. And he had like a 50% bonus package, something crazy like that. Um,
I'm
you don't
sure
need
you didn't find him on Fiverr.
no, I used a headhunter. I
Yeah.
have a brilliant headhunter in my founders group. His name's Kent. He's found me like 3 amazing employees. Um, and I would always rather overpay than try and cheap. If you try and cheap out, like your business is never going to grow.
Mm,
At least for the important positions, right? Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to have like a monster in the operations seat. You want to have a great customer service person because if your customer, I mean, we had terrible service. We had atrocious customer service up until like a month ago. So that was definitely a great hire. Yeah, I mean, there were like Reddit threads about us, and we're
sheesh.
still growing
Yeah,
crazy
you're going
fast.
really fast. It
But like
happens.
people are saying, our customer service was ass. I have no problem admitting that because it's better now.
Yeah.
Um, our fractional CFO was a big one because I skipped finance class in college to
Mhm.
build the business.
Mhm.
So I didn't know anything about cash flow. And that's why I almost bankrupted us a year and a half ago because we were growing and we were starting to make some money. Sales were good, but we didn't line up our orders the right way. And I stacked loans. And even though sales were going up every month, the amount of money in the bank account was going down because I was paying interest on these loans. And the interest was a percentage of the revenue. And so if we made $100, every $100 we made, $40 would immediately get sucked out of the account by the lenders. And we're not 40% profitable, so we were just doomed to fail. That's why I had to go raise some money. So having a good CFO or a fractional CFO is really important. I don't believe in like CMOs anymore, honestly. At least if you're a small company, you don't need a
Are
CMO.
you handling the marketing mostly?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
well, my creators in a way are
Or
my
at the
CMOs.
CMOs,
Like
yeah.
my creators will go set up high production videos on their own. They'll get like lighting, they'll get cameras, they'll get like a videographer to film them because they know that if they make an amazing video, even if it takes them 3 days to film one video, they can make like 30 grand off of it, right? So I'm just like licensing CMO out to them.
Yeah.
Uh, what else? I mean, great product. Like we just hired a brilliant head of product. She also gets paid more than me as the CEO, and she's the chief product officer. Um, head of head. I do this myself, but a head of creative is super important. Whoever is scripting and writing your ads and doing research on your ads and leading your UGC group in this business model that we're in
Yeah.
is extremely important. You need that.
Yeah, I feel like media buyers became a thing of the past, and like creative strategists are now replacing all that.
Oh yeah, dude. We're creating a feature in Tribe that literally will replace media buying. It's just like you upload your
It
ads
does
to
everything.
Tribe. The creators already, the ads are already in there. You just give Tribe the target ROI, just like TikTok Shop. You give Tribe the budget, the target ROI you want, and it'll go build the ads on every platform: Snapchat, Google, Meta, AppLovin, YouTube, TikTok, direct to store, and it will get you that target ROI, or else it won't spend more than
Mm,
whatever it needs to spend to get that.
yeah.
And I think that will like genuinely replace media buying
Yeah.
at a low level. Maybe these massive
It's kind of like some
9-figure
triple
brands
whale
need it.
stuff right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's sick. I think that's a lot of value right there for the audience to really dive into. Last question here.
Hope so.
Yeah, last question here for those who are watching, right? We have a lot of brand owners who are 100K to $1 million a month
Mhm.
or a year, like not the typical beginner.
Yeah.
So, speaking to them specifically, right? You scaled pretty aggressively, right? What would you say to those people who are kind of like treading around those intermediate numbers and they really just want to get that breakout $1 million months, $5 million months, like massive wins? Like, how do they break out of that? They feel stuck. And I hear this a lot with those type of founders, the 100K a month
Yeah.
founders.
Dude, it's really frustrating. I was there a year ago. I was bottlenecked at 200K a month for like 7 months. More creative. It's like think about it this way. Once again, door to door e-com is door to door sales on the internet. I really do believe that. If you have a door to door sales, if you have a great product, once again, you might have like the best solar panel ever, the best pest control, the best water. If you have a great product that people need to have in their hands, that people need to have and buy, you need to have salesmen to sell it or saleswomen, right? So even if you had the best water, if you only had 5 door to door salesmen, the amount of money that you can make is capped. The only way to make more money is to hire more salesmen. And that's how I look at UGC creators, right? It's like if you're constantly chasing down new UGC creators with these one-off deals or these monthly deals, that's even worse than having a couple
Mm,
door-to-door salesmen because now you're just hiring new ones and training them from scratch. They have no understanding, once again, of your product. So the best thing you could do as an e-com brand owner in this day and age, and who knows, this might be like patched in 5 years. I don't know, right? That's kind of how it goes.
we'll do round two.
Um, the best thing you could do, build a team of monster creators that not just like are great at selling, but really do align with your product. Like if you sell skincare, find creators that genuinely enjoy your product. That way they're like authentically selling it. You know, uh if you're selling like a fitness program as your offer, like don't get like a super overweight creator, right? If you're selling
Or that might be the
candy,
niche.
personally, I haven't seen that work. Like,
Yeah.
but like if you're selling candy
I know a brand
or
printing like 3 million a month.
chips or
Yeah.
snacks or something like that, then go for the
Yeah.
fat guy or the fat girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, like they're gonna make more
Like an
money
Ozempic.
for you.
Ozempic can work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the best thing you can do in this day and age, start small, build a team of. You don't need hundreds of creators. If anything, that's a big distraction. Get 5 to 10 amazing creators that do a great job at talking about your product. Incentivize them with like a retainer or a monthly bonus if they hit 30 to 60 videos a month. Get them making a video or two every day. That way, if you have 10 creators making you 10 videos a day, that's 300 ads a month, 300 different angles that you can test on Meta. And then, shameless plug here, use Tribe. That way, your creators can actually see how much money they're making in real time
Mm.
and see what ads are working in real time. That way, they're not just guessing. Because if your creators don't know what ads are working and what's making money, that's like throwing a dart at the that's like throwing a dart at the dartboard while blindfolded. So you have to give them access to the data to be able to see what's going on. and then just keep adding on. Like my biggest goal right now is like drop more good products, keep things in stock, hire more creators. And now I've taken my top creators, I pay them salary to go find me new creators and do that outreach for me.
You know, it's crazy you're talking about this because if you guys remember, the audience watching, about by the time we dropped this pod 6 months ago, Oscar, who actually has one of the most numbers we've had on the pod, he's doing about 4 million a month with like,
Nice.
and he said this exact thing, but not as advanced. He said, give your creators and your media buyers view access to the ad account to see
Yeah.
what they're actually generating through the ads that they've created, and then give them bonuses based off that. But you've
Yeah.
taken it to the next level.
If your creators don't know, it's like door-to-door sales. Once again, if every door-to-door salesman or saleswoman you have is making scripts and pitching from the hip, the success they'll have is going to be limited. But what if every door-to-door salesman you had was wearing Meta glasses? And what if every interaction they had with a customer was recorded? And that way, at the end of every day, everyone on your sales team could sit down and say, John, what worked for you today? And Stacy and Sarah, what worked for you guys? Why did John, like if John closed 11 doors today out of 100 and Jack only got one, John's clearly better. Let's record this. Let's let everybody else see it. It's like a no-brainer in my opinion. So essentially the creator hops in, they click your brand, they can see this updates in real time, all of this brand's top ads on Meta through Tribe. And I tell all my creators, as soon as a new ad pops up that's successful, fucking copy that shit. Copy it word for word. Think to yourself, how can I make it a little better? Yeah, they can see what worked. They can't see how much money other people made. Like I don't want to pocket watch anyone to everybody else. But yeah, when a creator gets a sale, like they get a little cha-ching notification on their phone, a little sound, makes them feel like an entrepreneur.
Max.
So then they get really excited. It's like gamifying it for the creator as well.
That's
Even TikTok doesn't do that.
What's a take that might piss people off, but it's true?
I really do believe like if you're where you end up in life is up to you, right? And you know, I think a lot of people agree with this. A lot of people are super salty at the world. They think they've been handed a bad hand. And I look at it like Monopoly, right? Like everyone starts on go. Everyone gets the same first roll. Some people roll 2 6s, so they get to spot number 12. They land on the, you know, money icon, get a nice check. Then they get to roll again, and from 2 rolls, they're halfway to go, right? Other people get 3, and they land on the fucking the trash symbol, and they owe a fee right away. Like, yeah, some people get fucked, and that sucks, right? But like, you can still win Monopoly rolling a 3 off the rip. Yes, it's harder. Everyone understands that. I really do believe in life where you end up after a couple decades. It's like, it's up to you. And I think you get rewarded by the universe based on the amount of value you provide, right? So like, for example, I own a clothing brand right now. Sure, clothes are important, but no one needs another t-shirt. Like no one needs another pair of shorts. If I put clothes on 1 million people, my reward from the universe will probably be like $100 million. Like that's probably what I would sell the company for. And so I helped put clothes on 1 million people, I get $100 million. But with something like Tribe, for example, if I help 1 million people make money and change their life, if I help that kid pay off his college tuition while he's going through school, just making videos on Tribe, if I help that single mother of 2 support her children, if I help that 49-year-old business owner turn everything around and make his business profitable that was about to fail with this new strategy using our app, if I change 1 million lives by helping them make more money, I'll be a billionaire. And so that's how I look at the result you get out of life. Like how much value do you provide other people? And if it's a lot, you're going to get a big reward. And that's why the billionaires of this world are like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Travis Kalanick, Airbnb founder Brian Chesky. It's like these sour people believe that they're evil and you can only get wealthy and successful by screwing people over. No, like they changed people's lives and everyone uses their products every single day. And so that's why they're successful. And so for me, like I want to be ultra successful in life. And yes, I want like materialistic things and I want cool experiences and I want access and I want like ease of life through having resources. But the only way to get there is by providing value to people. I truly believe that. And I think, you know, if I want to be something like a billionaire, for example, I have to solve $1 billion problem. I have to help 1 million people in order to do that. And I think if everyone would just understand that, it'd be a lot easier for them to get up out of bed in the morning because now they feel more powerful and now they have ownership of their life rather than just like sitting around thinking that the world is happening to them and not for them.
Well, Lucas, we're excited to see where you go with it. And we do round twos for the pods that do really well. So hopefully we'll see you back in the chair.
Yeah, I'm talking all this shit about what we'll do this year. I'll come back and let you guys know if it
We're
worked.
holding him accountable. We have crazy claims, but I think you'll live up to it just like you did the first round with what you said to Hudson. So let's see you round two.
Thanks, man.
Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast episode. We're bringing the highest level of e-commerce value every single month, so definitely hit that subscribe button and check out our other podcast episodes. If you're looking for an e-commerce fulfillment partner that you can trust to ship to 65 plus countries worldwide and make sure that you have the best cost of goods, go to commercive.co for a completely free quote. We service over 1,000 e-commerce brands, taking care of all their sourcing, manufacturing, and fulfillment from China, so you don't have to worry about anything on the back end. Let us, the experts, actually handle for you. Go to commercive.co for a free quote.